The title probably caught your eye, huh? You're probably thinking right now, isn't Tiz the main character? No, wait, I thought it was Anya's. Yeah, that's what I thought, you dumb horse. But don't worry, we'll cover them as well in today's discussion, as we take a quick dive into why Edea Lee is the real main character of the Luxendarc saga of Bravely Default. But first, I need something from you, dear viewer. Hand it over. That thing. Your likes and subscribes. To support my channel. And also, since I'm going to be promoting it for the next while, if you haven't seen it already, make sure to check out my Praying Brage series. You can watch it in 3 parts or as one big long movie. You've got options. And be sure to share it around. Let's make it so every Bravely fan in the world knows this game's plotline. Alright, enough promo, let's get on to the topic. Before we get into why I would regard Edea as the main character, let's go over the other characters and their places in the series. Firstly, Ring a Bell does not even approach protagonist territory. Interesting character does not mean main character. Now, in regards to the plots of the individual games, you could probably say Tiz or Anya's is the main character of Bravely Default. Anya's is a bit more fitting, mostly because Tiz is more of a player stand-in with a sprinkling of character, and how the quest to awaken the crystals was Anya's own duty, at least as Eri manipulated her to believe. And for Bravely Second, on its own, it's you that gets the focus of the player and has a large character arc. But then we get to Edea Lee. Our little Eternian Sky Knight has been a cornerstone of the entire Luxendarc saga thus far. We'll go through each of her appearances so we can really get a clear idea of how important she is. First, we look to Bravely Default, the first one. As a former member of the Sky Knights, Edea perfectly embodies the sentiment of being Bravely Default, to defy the expectations of others, to have the courage to disobey. Her actual initiation into the party involved her doing, what again? Fully turning on her superior, Ominous Crow, and having the other 3 aid her in taking him down. From then on, for the entire campaign across Luxendarc, Edea was having to go up against the Duchy's forces, those she was once a part of, eventually facing off against her own father. To be able to do that for so long as she had, and then battling those she actually cared about to varying degrees, Einherja, Kami-Izumi, Brave, and Alternus, is the perfect expression of Edea's will to be defiant, to be Bravely Default. Now, granted, it turned out that doing so wasn't exactly the smartest decision since, Eri and Roberus were a thing, but she was just doing her best with the information she had, especially considering the fact that Brave just wouldn't bother explaining anything to anyone. Probably would have saved a lot of lives if you just told people, Brave. But even then, with the Dark God's arrival, she wasn't one to just roll over and die. She picked up her sword, along with the party, and finished Roberus off. So all of that alone, in just the first game, defined Edea as being the most constant example of being Bravely Default. Moving right along, we've reached Bravely Second. Once again, Edea is a playable member of the party, the second person to join in fact, with the first obviously being you. Now, while she doesn't offer a lot per se during the main quests, aside from being a great fighter, Edea takes the spotlight by storm in the side quests. Every single side quest in Bravely Second, there is an ethical dilemma to be made, and Edea is the one to make the final decision every single time. And naturally, this culminates in her final trial from her father, to see if she is truly ready to take his place as Grand Marshal, in which she succeeds with flying colors. This progression really gives her growth from Bravely Default, where she has to prove her ability to navigate nuanced situations with thought and care, weighing the pros and cons of her actions and those she's supporting, while also proving she has grown beyond seeing the world as black and white. It also develops her gluttonous appetite, but that's a story for another day. So, we've got embodiment of being Bravely Default and complete dominance in the side quests of Bravely Second. But where else has Edea had an important appearance? Why, none other than the game I just did a major series on. That's right, I'm bringing up Praying Brage again. Thought you were free from it? Never! I'm gonna milk this series till I'm dead and gone. But in all seriousness, Praying Brage is our next stop for this discussion. Without spoiling too much for those who haven't watched the videos yet, Edea finally steps into the role of main character. if we disregard the player and Eri as the player duo, considering that gacha games always make the player themselves a character. Edea becomes Edea Lee Oblige, the new Vestal of Wind, in the land of Crystallica as she searches for Anyas. Over the course of the game, we begin to witness her command over the Kaiser Asterisk, which has now taken on new meaning and contains a new power, one which allows Edea to harness the will of the thousands. But what else, you ask? Where else does Edea show up and actually matter? Comics! It's comic book time! Bravely Default Anthology! While being a series of separate stories involving members of the Duchy, who's the one tying all the events together? Edea! And Anyas. The two of them are running around throughout the course of the comic, giving the Duchy members their asterisks back to prepare for the events of Bravely Second. Hell, Edea is even the one on the front cover of the anthology. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link the video I did on the anthology in the top right corner right now. So, as shown with 4 examples thus far, Edea has either acted as the embodiment of the Bravely series' messages, or has been the link that ties a plot together throughout the Luxendarc saga as we have witnessed it. But it's also fair to say that the devs themselves see her as a mascot. Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent had a Bravely Default crossover event a while ago with 2 characters from the Luxendarc games and 2 from Excellent. The 2 from Excellent were Elvis and Adele, so maybe we'll get a couple from Luxendarc? Nope. We had Anyas, and knock knock, guess who? You got it. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, in fact, it just proves my point even further. I also went onto the Bravely Default official Twitter and only scrolled back to 2016. They use Edea in a lot of art, when comparing how much art they post in total. Maybe she's just a favorite around the offices, or maybe my whole assumption was right, that Edea Lee is meant to be the mascot of the Bravely series, and with her amount of involvement in the events of the world, is the true main character of the series. Boy just keeps going to bed. Now Edea, that's big brain. But anyways, that's why I believe Edea Lee is the real main character of Bravely Default, based on her vast number of appearances and widespread influence on the world of Luxendarc in multiple ways. She may not always be the main protagonist in each game when viewed individually, but overall, I think it's fair to say that Edea is our constant hero. What do you think? Am I right, or does this seem too much like an Edea Lee appreciation post? I'm going to be straightforward with you. A few months ago, I might have disagreed with you if you presented this argument to me. Hell, I wasn't even really that much a fan of Edea. But over the last little while thinking about this topic over and over again, I've come to respect her character and her impact on the story a lot more, resulting in this video's creation. But maybe I'm just wrong. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or join my Discord and we can discuss it there. Please remember to like and subscribe, and share the video with others to keep the discussion going. Alright, thanks for watching, have a good one, and I'll see you soon.